The stars above Luroth glowed red, not with beauty, but with destruction. Fire rained from the sky. Explosions echoed in every direction. Entire cities were turned into ash. Families hid in broken buildings. Children cried in the dark. The sky, once full of peace, now burned with war. Inside an old science facility buried deep beneath the capital, he had served the Lurati, Science Guild, for over 70 years. Now, all that knowledge could not stop what was happening outside the Kravari. They will kill us all. He turned to a console, fingers trembling. The system was old-ancient, even it hadn't been used in generations. It was a forgotten emergency transmitter built during the days when the galaxy was young and full of hope. One button could send a message far beyond the nearby star systems, but no one used it anymore. No one believed help would ever come. "Do it," said a young female soldier standing behind him. Her name was Nira. Her armor was cracked. Blood ran down her face, but her eyes were strong. "Send the message," Varnin hesitated. The council ordered this line sealed. "The council is dead," she replied coldly. "And if we don't send it, we will be too." He took a deep breath. Threats no one could stop alone, they feared. It would bring them. Nira frowned. "Them?" Varnin didn't answer. He reached out and pressed the old red button. A deep hum filled the room. Lights flickered. The screen showed a spinning symbolon, old sign of distress. The message was short, translated into every major galactic language. And one more. "This is Lurith. We are under attack. The Kravari show no mercy. We beg for help. Anyone, please, help us." The signal flew into the stars, far across the galaxy, beyond known space. A lonely satellite floated near the icy surface of Pluto. It was black, with no markings. It did not respond to scans. For 200 years it had remained silent, watching, listening. Inside it, something stirred. A light blinked. A screen lit up in a forgotten command bunker. Dust covered the control panels. No human had entered in decades. Flashed dot, buried under Mars, in massive underground hangars. Ancient warships powered up for the first time in centuries. They were massive, larger than cities, dark and silent, yet deadly beyond imagination. Back on Lurith, the skies grew darker. The Kravari were close to total victory. Their ships circled the last remaining cities. One by one, shields failed. Entire towers collapsed under heavy bombardment. The Kravari were known across the stars as conquerors. They did not take prisoners. They left only ashdot inside the command bunker. Varnin stared at the sky. "No response," he muttered. "I don't know if anyone heard us." "They heard us," Nira said, tightening her grip on her weapon. "Hope is a dangerous thing, child." But hope, it seemed, had been reborn. Across the solar system, Earth's secret fleet came alive. The ships were black and sharp, like shadows with engines. Some were invisible to normal sensors. Others could bend space itself. These were not just ships. They were weapons of legend. Built for a war the galaxy had tried to forget. A voice echoed through every ship. "All units, coordinate with the Omega Beacon. Mission Lurith. Objective, eliminate. Kravari presence, show no mercy." Cryopods opened. Human soldiers stepped out, their eyes cold. These were not diplomats. These were not explorers. These were warborn. They were the last of Earth's forgotten guardians. And they had been waiting for this call, inside a Kravari flagship, orbiting. Lurith, General Strar, watched the destruction below with pride. This planet was weaker than expected. They barely fought back. "They had allies once," the officer replied. "Fools," Straw chuckled. "Multiple contacts, no identification. Pirates." The officer guessed, STRAR, squinted. "No, too fast, too organized." A moment later, the screen went black dot. Then, and cold, "This is Fleet Commander Aaron of the Terran Death Worlder Armada. Your crimes against Lurith have been recorded. You have 10 seconds to surrender. After that, we begin the purge." The Kravari general laughed. "Earth, humans, I thought they left the galaxy." "They did," whispered the technician. "But now?" The screen shut off. Outside, space lit up with blue fire. The first Terran strike ship moved. Like a ghost. No warnings, no weapons detected. It simply passed through the Kravari cruiser. and the cruiser exploded into thousands of pieces. Other human warships appeared like nightmares. Their weapons weren't seen, they were felt. Crivari ships burned before they could even return fire. This is impossible, Strahr shouted. We are the Crivari! No one stands against us! But someone was. Dozens of Crivari ships tried to retreat. None escaped. One by one, they fell. The human fleet was silent. No battle cries, no threats, only action. On the surface of Luruth, the people looked up and saw the skies turning from red to black, and then to blue. The fires stopped. The bombs stopped falling. The Crivari transmissions ended. Nira ran outside. Holding a child's hand, above her, she saw something massive hovering over the city. A giant human ship, dark as night, with glowing engines. She whispered, "They came." Varnan stepped beside her, tears in his eyes. "They heard us." From the ship, a small message was broadcast. "Lureth is safe. The Deathworlders have answered." Later that day, in a hidden chamber of the Terran flagship, Commander Aaron stood before a screen. "Spare us." Aaron's voice was calm. "You had no mercy for Lureth. Earth does not forget." He ended the transmission. Then he turned to his crew. "Send the message to the galaxy." A signal echoed through space, to every system, every race, every government. "When you harm the innocent, Earth will come, and Earth will end you." From a simple signal, an old war had been reborn, but so had hope, and this time, the galaxy would remember. Humanity may be silent for centuries, but when the SOS is heard, the Deathworlders answer with fire. A cold wind swept over the dark surface of Pluto. No one lived there, nothing moved. But far beneath the icy ground, something ancient stirred. Buried under the frozen crust was a satellite unlike any other Omega Sentinel, black as space, silent. As death, it had no blinking lights, no sounds, no signs of life. For over 2 centuries, it had done nothing. Until now, the signal from Lureth reached it like a whisper in the void. A red light blinked once, then again deep inside the satellite. Dormant systems powered up. A voice echoed in the silence. Galactic SOS detected. Origin Lureth. Level, Omega threat. Another signal was sent instantly across the solar system to Earth, far below Earth's surface. Buried in a forgotten command bunker inside the Rocky Mountains, an old screen flickered to life. Dust covered the equipment. No one had touched it in 175 years. Then the lights came on, and the bunker woke. Steel doors slid open, a robotic voice spoke, "Command protocol, Delta Black." Ancient Omega distress signal received. Initiating reactivation. In a chamber below, dozens of glowing pods hissed open. Inside them, men and women lay frozen in Sleep Earth's old warriors. The best of the best. The first humans to fight. The great war of the stars. And the last ones to leave. One of them opened his eyes, double quotes, ... "How long have we slept?" he asked weakly. The AI responded, 201 years. Your world is at peace, but the galaxy is not. The man sat up. His name was Commander Aaron Voss. A scar ran across his face from a war no history books remembered. He looked at the blinking red screen. "Lou Roth," he said. "The Crivari again." "Confirmed," replied the voice. "They have returned. The signal asks for help." Humanity must decide. On the surface of Earth, no one knew what was happening. Cities were calm. Children played. People laughed. Earth had become a place of peace, art, and growth. And long ago, it had cost the galaxy everything. In a tall tower in Geneva, the United Earth Council met in silence. The signal from Lureth played again in the chamber. "We are Lureti. The Crivari destroy us. We beg for help. Anyone, please. Counselor." Mira stood, her face pale. "I remember my grandfather speaking of the Crivari," she said softly. "He fought them, said they were monsters." Counselor Wren shook his head. "Earth swore never to interfere again. The last war nearly destroyed everything. And if we ignore this call," asked Mira, silence filled the room. Then a voice came through the chamber speakers. "Perhaps you should hear from someone who still remembers what war is." The screen changed. Commander Aaron appeared. His face was hard, his eyes sharp. "I've seen the Crivari burn worlds," he said. I watched them crush planets and erase species. We stopped them once. We left the galaxy because we hoped it had learned." He paused, but it hasn't. Counselor Wren narrowed his eyes. "You are not authorized to speak on behalf of Earth." "No, SAID Aaron. But I am authorized to protect it." Behind him, the hangars of Mars opened. Dozens of warships lifted into the sky, silent, black, ready. "You built us for this," Aaron said. "Now we answer the call." The Death Worlder fleet had been hidden for centuries, not because humanity feared others, but because others feared humanity. The last time Earth had gone to war, entire star systems fell. Their ships had become legends. Their weapons had no equal. After the Great War, Earth withdrew, swearing never to fight again. The galaxy called it mercy. Now mercy was over. On Jupiter's moon, Ganymede, an orbital base blinked to life. Defense satellites aligned. Engines warmed up. Massive destroyers turned their bows toward the stars. Inside the main warship Vengeance-class dreadnought, Oblivion Commander Aaron stood before a giant display. His second-in-command, Captain Lyra Dorn, watched the screen. "Fleets are orbiting Lureth," she said. "Numbers growing." "Do they know we're coming?" Aaron asked. "No," she replied. "No one does." He smiled. "Let's keep it that way." On Lureth, the fires still burned. In the ruined capital, Varnan and Nira sat quietly in the underground bunker. The walls shook as distant bombs fell. "It's been 2 days," Nira said. "Do you think anyone even heard us?" Varnan looked at the signal relay, still blinking. "Still transmitting, they heard us," he said. "I just don't know if they care." Suddenly, a low hum filled the bunker. Then, a deep rumble, not from above, but from below. Nira stood up fast. "What is that?" Varnan walked to the door and opened it slowly in the sky. Something moved, not Kravari ships, something larger, stranger, silent, then. They vanished, just like that, on a Kravari warship above. Lurath General Strar stared at his officers. "What just entered our space?" he demanded. The radar operator blinked. Unknown contact then, nothing. It disappeared, no signature. No communication. Straw growled, "Find it." Then another report came in. Sector 8 patrol ship lost. Sector 12 gone, no distress signal. Straw stood up slowly. "What is happening?" The communications officer turned pale. "Sir, we intercepted a coded message. Human code." Straw's face turned dark. "Humans?" he hissed. "I thought they were extinct." The officer shook his head. "They're not, and they're here." On board the Oblivion, Captain Dorn reviewed the battlefield. "The Kravari still control the skies," she said. "Not for long," Aaron replied. "Begin silent strike protocol." 10 Terran stealth destroyers vanished from sight. Moments later, across Kravari space, ships began exploding without warning. No lasers, no missiles, just ... death. The Kravari panicked. Their ships turned in all directions, firing at nothing. It was chaos. Then the voice came, from every human ship. One message was broadcast in every language. "This is Earth. You hurt the innocent. Now we answer." In the capital of the Galactic Council on Thraxis Prime, alien leaders watched the reports in horror. "What have we done?" One whispered ... Another replied, "We ignored Lureth, and now Earth has returned." A third older alien shook his head. "We feared Earth's power, but perhaps it was the only thing that could stop the Kravari." Across the galaxy, species began to listen again, to remember, to watch the Death Worlders were awake. In the skies above Lureth, the human fleet broke formation. Ships moved with perfect precision. Their engines made no sound. Their weapons were pure destruction. Below, the Lurati people looked up and saw, their skies turning blue. Hope returned to their eyes. Varnan watched in silence. They came. Nira smiled for the first time in days. Earth heard us. Inside his command ship, General Straw shouted orders. "Fight them! Blast them out of the sky!" But it was too late. Human boarding pods smashed into Kravari vessels. Steel clashed with claw, blades with bone. But the humans were trained for this. They were bred for it. In the end, the Kravari fleet above Luroth was broken in a single day. Earth did not speak again. It didn't have to. The galaxy had already heard. Deep below the surface of Mars, in a place where no sunlight reached, something ancient waited. Long tunnels stretched for miles under the red planet's crust. At their end stood tall steel doors, sealed silent, untouched for centuries. Behind those doors, hidden in the dark, was Earth's last war fleet. No one spoke of it. No one was supposed to know it existed. But it was real, and now it was waking up. A soft hum began to fill the silence. Lights flickered on, one by one. In the control chamber, a massive holographic screen came to life. Red letters flashed across it. "Oh, MEGA signal, confirmed. Mission code, Blackfire." Commander Aaron Voss stood at the edge of the hangar, looking out over rows of giant ships. Each vessel was shaped like a shadow, black metal, polished and deadly. Some were as long as a mountain. Others could slip through space like ghosts. He had walked this hangar once, long ago, when the last great war had ended. He had sworn never to return, and yet, here he was. Captain Lyra Dorn stood beside him. "They're still functional," she said. "Every ship, every system," Aaron nodded slowly. "We built them too well." She looked at him. "Do we tell the rest of Earth?" He shook his head. "Not yet. Let the Council stay blind a little longer. We don't need approval to do what must be done." Lyra didn't argue. They had seen what the Kravari could do, and they had also seen what Earth had once done in return. As the fleet activated, pods deep within the ships began to open. Soldiers stepped out slowly, breathing hard, eyes adjusting. Too light, men and women young, strong, and trained for war. They were not civilians. They were not explorers. These were Deathworlders, chosen for the hardest missions. Born and raised in Earth's harshest places, Colonel Rix, a tall man with silver hair and arms like steel cables, walked into the loading bay. "Still hate the cold," he grunted. "Mars never changes." Aaron greeted him with a nod. "Welcome back," Rix smirked. "Didn't think I'd be woken up for anything less than total extinction." "It's close," Aaron replied. "The Kravari are back. And this time, they're not just conquering, they're wiping out species." Rix cracked his knuckles. "Good, I was getting bored anyway." On the surface of Mars, hidden gates opened. Enormous launch pads began to rise. Dust clouds blew across the planet as engines powered up. For the first time in 200 years, the Black Armada prepared for launch. Dozens of ships lifted slowly from the ground. Engines glowing blue dot above them, Martian satellites adjusted their positions to make way, and across the solar system, other hidden bases received the signal. On Europa, on Titan, on the rings of Saturn. Ships of war, hidden in asteroids and moons, came online. Earth's silence was over in low Earth orbit. The people of Earth had no idea what was happening. Children played in parks, families watched the stars. Some even looked through telescopes and noticed something strange, new lights moving past the moon. But they didn't understand what they were seeing. Not yet, back in the Martian Control Center. Aaron looked at the battlefield map, ETA to Lureth system. He asked. Captain Lyra replied, "Fleet will be in position in 39 hours, using Foldstream drive. Enemy strength, Kravari. Control 80% of orbit. Over 40 capital ships, dozens of cruisers. No signs of planetary defense left on Lureth." Aaron leaned forward. "Then we hit them fast. No warnings, no mercy." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Isn't that what they said about us last time?" He stared at her. "That's because it was true." Somewhere in deep space, aboard the Kravari dreadnought Zorak Tal, General Strar paced the bridge. He was angry. Not because the Lurati resisted, not because a few of his scout ships had vanished, but because something didn't feel right. His officer approached. Still no trace of the unknown attackers. General Strar growled. "Who are they? Pirates? Rebels? That kind of firepower doesn't come cheap." The officer hesitated. "There's another theory. Some believe it's the Deathworlders." Strar laughed. "The humans, please. They vanished 2 centuries ago. They left this galaxy behind. But what if they didn't?" The general narrowed his eyes. "Then we will remind them who rules it now." Back in the fleet, Colonel Rix walked through the barracks of the assault ship Stoneblade. Dozens of troops were suiting up. Their armor was heavy, black with glowing red lines. Their weapons were powerful enough to cut through starship hulls. He stood in front of them and shouted, "Listen up." The room went silent. "You were chosen. Because you're the best. Earths might have forgotten what we are, but the galaxy hasn't," Loreth called. And we answered. One soldier, young and nervous, raised his hand. "Sir, why are we doing this alone? Shouldn't we wait for orders?" Rix walked up to him slowly. "Kid, orders don't matter when people are screaming for help. You want to wait for some council to vote on lives? Or do you want to stop a genocide?" The soldier nodded, jaw clenched. "I'm ready, sir." "Good," Rix said. "Because we don't fight for medals. We fight so others don't have to." In the launch bay of the Oblivion, Sleek Attack, drones hummed to life. Their AI systems synced with command ships. Bombers were loaded with gravity mines. Railguns locked into place. Human engineers moved fast, silent. HFY Sci-Fi countdown began. Team, -5 hours to jump. Commander Aaron stood in the command chamber, staring at the Olo map. Every red dot marked a Kravari ship. Soon, those dots would be gone. But then, something unexpected happened. An encrypted message appeared on the screen. It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't from Lurath. It was from a place no one had spoken of in over 100 years. 07. An abandoned Terran research colony on the edge of Kravari. Space. Aaron frowned. "Play it." The message was weak, full of static, but a voice came through. "Do not engage." "Not what it seems. Deathworlders, you are walking into a trap." The screen went black. Everyone froze, Captain Lyra whispered. "Is that?" Real Rix stepped forward. "We left that station dead a century ago." Aaron narrowed his eyes. "Someone's trying to warn us. Or confuse us." Lyra asked, "Do we stop the attack?" Aaron shook his head. "No. We changed the plan. If there's a trap, we spring it our way." He turned to the control panel. "Activate Phase 2. Bring the Wraith-class ships online. Deep in the hangars." A new kind of ship awoke, smaller than the others, faster, silent. These were built for infiltration stealth vessels designed for sabotage and extraction. Their mission: enter the Kravari command fleet without being seen. Find out what the message meant 2 hours later. 3 Wraith-class ships vanished into the void. The rest of the fleet continued toward Lurath. The trap was real. But Earth's war machine was ready for anything. In the final hour before the battle, Commander Aaron stood alone on the observation deck. Below him, Mars rotated slowly, red and lifeless. He remembered the first time he put on a uniform. He remembered the screams of dying worlds. He remembered leaving, and now, returning. Captain Lyra joined him. "Do you think we'll ever go back to peace?" she asked. Aaron looked at her. "No," he said quietly, "because peace is never given. It's taken back, one battle at a time." And with that, the Deathworlder fleet vanished into the stars, heading toward war, toward revenge, toward Lurath, and toward a trap that could change everything. The skies above Laruth were now filled with smoke and death. Once this world had been peaceful home to poets, artists, and scholars. Its cities had been clean, its people kind. Now, black smoke rose from its broken towers. Fires burned unchecked. The rivers ran dark. The air smelled of Ashdod in orbit. The Kravari fleet hovered like vultures. 40 warships circled the planet. Smaller cruisers moved in patterns, scanning for survivors and preparing for the final strike. On board the massive Kravari flagship Dreadspine, General Strar stood tall, his armored claws behind his back. He watched the burning planet below through a wide viewing screen. His face showed no pity, no regret. "This planet falls just like the others," he said. "Another weak race, begging at the end." Beside him, Sub-Commander Trelk tapped on a glowing display. "We've eliminated 94% of Lorati resistance. Final bombardments will begin within the hour." Strar gave a nod. "Good. Finish the job. No survivors." Trelk hesitated, "Sir. There are children in the underground shelters." Strah's voice turned cold. "No survivors. If we leave even one, they will cry to the stars, and the stars may listen." He turned away. "We are the Kravari. We do not show mercy." In one of the broken Lorati cities, Nira and Varnan crouched in a ruined tunnel. The shelter had collapsed above them hours ago. Dust covered their clothes. Oxygen was running low. The emergency lights flickered. "Do you hear that, Nira?" whispered. Varnan listened. He heard it a low hum above ground. "Engines, heavy ones. They're preparing to fire again," he said. Nira clenched her fists. "We sent the SOS Earth's fleet came." "I saw them. Why haven't they attacked yet?" Varnan shook his head. "Maybe they're not ready, or maybe they're waiting." "Waiting for what?" He looked toward the ceiling, eyes tired. "For the right moment." War is not just about power, it's about timing. Nira didn't like it. "We don't have time." Back aboard the Dreadspine, a Kravari technician approached General Strahr with a report. "Sir, 2 more of our patrol ships are missing. No distress call, no debris found." Strahr's red eyes narrowed. "How is that possible?" The technician lowered his head. "We don't know. It's like they vanished." Strahr stepped forward slowly. "What direction were they last seen?" "Near the planet's dark side, far orbit." "Sector 19, Strahr growled. "Send for gunships. If something's out there, I want it found." He paused. "And bring me the prisoner." In the lower cells of the Dreadspine, a Lorati noble sat. In chains, he was thin, his robes torn, but his eyes were proud. His name was Elder Th'Alos. The guards dragged him into the war room. Strahr faced him. "Your world is finished," the general said. "Your people are dust." "Why did you send that message?" Talos raised his chin. "Because the stars remember Earth," Strahr laughed. "Earth is a ghost. They heard us," Talos replied calmly. "And ghosts are angry when disturbed." Strahr struck him across the face. "No help is coming. Your hope is poison." Talos looked up, blood on his lip. "You will learn," he whispered, "what poison can do." In deep space, 3 Wraith-class stealth ships from Earth's fleet drifted like shadows toward the Kravari fleet. Their outer shells bent light. Their engines made no sound. Even Kravari sensors couldn't detect them. Inside one ship, Lieutenant Kale adjusted his controls. His face was calm but focused. "We're in position," he said, feeding live visuals to Oblivion. A holographic map of the Kravari formation glowed in front of him. Red dots marked every ship. But Kale noticed something strange. "There's a gap here," he muttered, "between 2 capital ships. No patrols, no mines. It's too clean." His partner Juno leaned forward. "It's a trap, or a door," Kale said. They sent the data back to Commander Aaron aboard Oblivion. ARIN studied the information. "A corridor they want us to use," he said. Captain Lyra nodded. "We go in through there. We get surrounded." Aaron turned away from the table. "They think we'll come in straight, that we're eager for war." "Good." He looked over the entire command deck. "We'll let them think that." He tapped a button. "All units, prepare Phase 3. Back on the surface of Luroth, Nira helped carry a wounded child through the rubble. Varnan limped behind her, using a broken pipe as a cane. They had made it out of the shelter, but the city was falling. Apart, fires blocked every street. The sky glowed orange. Suddenly, a Kravari drone hovered above them. NIRA froze. It aimed its weapon, then boom, a bright blast tore it apart. From the smoke, a figure stepped forward. Black armor, human dot. He lifted his hand. "You called," he said. Nira's eyes filled with tears. They came. In orbit, the Kravari gunships searching Sector 19 went dark. One by one, no signals, no alarms, just silence. General Strahr stared at the screen. His claws dug into the control table. "Where are my ships?" he shouted. "Trelk swallowed, sir. They're gone. Gone. How?" Strahr roared. "No trace. Same as before." Strahr turned toward his officers. "Prepare all fleets. The humans are here. I want every cannon locked, every ship armed. If they want a war, we'll show them one." But Earth's war fleet wasn't. Rushing in, they were already inside. Dozens of stealth ships had entered Kravari formation under their noses. Now they waited. Aaron stood in the bridge of Oblivion, his voice low and calm. "Final confirmation. All ships in position." "Captain." Lyra nodded. "All weapons locked? All targets marked?" Aaron stared into the stars. "Begin the rain." Above Lurith, the sky changed. It happened in seconds. Massive rail cannons fired from invisible ships. Plasma beams cut through Kravari hulls. One battleship exploded in a storm of blue fire. Another vanished into a black hole. Bomb panic spread. Among the Kravari, they're inside our formation. How? They're everywhere, General Straw screamed. Return fire. But there was nothing to shoot at. The humans moved faster than any scanner could read. They didn't fight like anyone else. They were Deathworlders on the ground. The sky rained fire, but not on Lurith. This time, the fire came for the enemy. Dropships exploded mid-air. Their towers crumbled under human precision strikes. Varnan stared up. I thought we were forgotten, he said softly. Nira looked at him. They remembered. In the Dreadspine, Strar watched as his fleet was torn apart. 1/3 of his ships were gone. His voice trembled. What are these weapons? Trelk looked pale. They warp gravity. They bend time. I don't understand it. Straw pointed at the screen. Call reinforcements. Now, but it was too late. The Oblivion arrived, one massive ship, black and silent, appearing from nothing. It hovered above the Kravari flagship. Its cannons glowed. Aaron's voice came through. This is Commander Aaron Voss of Earth. You burned a peaceful world. You gave them fire. We answer in kind. Straw shouted, No. You can't, but the Oblivion fired. The blast tore through shields, armor, everything. The Dreadspine exploded. Back on Lurith, Nira stood with the human soldier who had saved her. More were landing, now dozens of dropships, bringing medics, supplies, and soldiers. You're not like what the stories said, she told him. He removed his helmet. His face was young, tired, but kind. The stories forgot, he said. But we didn't, she smiled. You're here now. That's what matters. In orbit, the last Kravari ship tried to escape the Oblivion. Let it go. It would carry a message. Earth has returned, and it brings fire with it. The Kravari scout ship drifted alone through deep space. It was large, built for speed and long-range patrols. Its mission was simple: scan nearby systems and report. Anything unusual, but something was unusual. Something strange had entered this region. Too quiet, too fast, and too precise. Inside the ship, Officer Resin paced across the bridge. He had received no orders, no updates, and no messages from the fleet in hours. The silence scared him. Still nothing from Dreadspine, he asked. The technician beside him shook her head. No signals, no traffic, not even debris. It's like they vanished. Resin clenched his fists. That's impossible. A whole armada doesn't vanish. The screen flickered. A long-range sensor lit up with a warning. Unknown object approaching. The technician said, eyes wide, It's fast? How fast? Too fast. Too fast. Resin turned toward the viewing panel. At first, he saw only stars. Then something blocked them out. A shadow. A giant black ship. Silent. Unmarked. No lights. No energy reading. Just death. Is that... A Kravari ship, one officer whispered. Resin stepped closer to the screen. No, he said softly. That's something else. The shadow moved closer. Then it fired. One blast. No sound. The Kravari scout ship didn't even get to scream. The Oblivion, Commander Aaron, watched the small red dot disappear from the battlefield map. Target destroyed, Captain Lyra confirmed. Scout eliminated. Aaron nodded. Any other Kravari patrols nearby? Not anymore, she said. They're blind now. Aaron leaned over the display table. His eyes scanned the entire system. All right, he said. We're moving. In the fleet, descended toward Lurith like a storm. Black ships, sharp and smooth, moved through the darkness. Stealth units flew low, hugging the planet's edge. Bombers followed, slow and heavy, carrying payloads that could split a mountain. The Oblivion hovered behind them. O massive, calm, deadly dot. Inside, Aaron opened a direct channel to the entire fleet. Soldiers of Earth, he said, his voice steady. We are not here to conquer. We are not here to rule. We are here because someone cried for help. He paused. They called us monsters once, but we are not monsters. We are guardians. And today, we remind the galaxy why Earth is feared. The channel closed. Engines roared. In the ruined cities of Lurith, Nira, and Varnan looked up again. The sky was now full of light blue thrusters, red flames, and flashes of battle. Krivari fighters screamed overhead, chased by human interceptors. Are they winning? Nira asked. Varnan squinted. They're not fighting like a normal fleet. What? Do you mean they're not trying to protect themselves? They're aiming to end the Krivari. At a Krivari forward command post on Lureth's surface, Captain Reger barked orders. Deploy all remaining ground forces, shield the central relay. If we lose that, we lose control of our units. Behind him, his officers scrambled. Then the sky turned white. A human railgun shot from orbit split the command post in half. The explosion was silent for a moment. Then the sound came like thunder, shaking the ground for miles. Krivari troops were thrown into the air. Tanks flipped like toys. Those who survived looked up and ran. Earth's ground troops landed. Black boots hit Lurati soil. Troops moved like machines, fast-trained, deadly. Their armor shimmered. Their rifles hummed with quiet power. Colonel Rix led the charge. Clear the west quadrant, he shouted. Watch the rooftops, Krivari are using snipers. Behind him, heavy walkers stomped across the street, massive machines shaped like beasts. Their legs crushed wreckage. Their cannons fired red bursts, turning enemy vehicles to molten metal. The Krivari tried to regroup. They failed in one of the remaining Krivari bunkers. Commander Jalker shouted, "Where is our air support?" "Gone," yelled his officer. "The humans destroyed the whole sky fleet. Call for backup." "There is no backup." Suddenly, a high-pitched whine filled the air. Jalkar froze. What is that, then? The roof collapsed. Earth's shock. Troopers dropped into the room, rifles raised. Jalkar tried to reach for his weapon, fast and silent. The bunker fell quiet, back in orbit. Aaron monitored the operation. "Status report," he said. Captain Lyra replied quickly. 70% of Krivari ground forces neutralized. Remaining ships are scattering. Aaron narrowed. His eyes, don't let them run. Across the fleet, target locks were confirmed. Earth's ships began firing precise blasts, not wild destruction. But cold elimination, Krivari warships vanished, one after another. Each time, the sky grew quieter. On the ground, Nira and a group of Lurati civilians were guided to safety by human soldiers. "Where are you taking us?" she asked. "To the north side," said one of the soldiers. "We've set up med shelters. You'll be safe there." She looked at his armor. "You're not afraid?" He paused. "We were trained to face fear, not run from it." Varnan smiled. Weakly, "Then you are the kind we prayed for." At the edge of the battlefield, a Krivari commander activated an emergency beacon. "Requesting surrender," he said, voice shaky. "This is Commander Trarn of the 11th Assault Division. We surrender." Back aboard the Oblivion, the message came through. Captain Lyra looked at Aaron. "Do we accept?" Aaron didn't answer right away. He remembered Lureth's burned towers. He remembered Earth's long silence, and he remembered the cost of past mercy. He tapped the control panel. Send the reply. A single word blinked on the Krivari screen. Denied. Commander Tron stared at the message. Then his ship exploded. Across the system, Earth's forces swept through what remained of the Krivari resistance. No Krivari fleet had ever been so quickly, so totally defeated. The Deathworlders fought like they had something to prove, and they did, by nightfall. Luroth was quiet again. The fires were out. The enemy was gone. Survivors walked through the streets. In disbelief, children stared at the human ships with wide eyes. Nira stood beside a broken statue, looking at the stars. "Do you think they'll stay?" she asked Varnan. The old scholar shook his head. "No, Earth never stays. They come like a storm, and then vanish." She nodded slowly. "But they saved us." In orbit, the human fleet began to regroup. Aaron sat alone in his command room. He looked at a small screen showing Earth. Peaceful. Distant, he whispered to himself. "We're not heroes." Just the last line. Then he stood up and gave the order. "Send the message." A signal went out from the Oblivion. It echoed through the stars, bouncing between systems. The message was short but powerful. Earth heard the call. Earth answered. Earth remembers. The galaxy would never forget what it saw over Luroth, and the Krivari would never forget the fire, because when the Deathworlders return, they bring war. The galaxy had gone quiet. After the destruction of the Kravari fleet over Lurith, messages began to spread like sparks in dry grass. Across spaceports, outposts, and distant colonies, the story repeated again and again. Earth is back, not with words, not with diplomats, but with fire, and everyone, friend, foe, or those in between, was now watching the skies. On a distant mining colony called Rolanthri, old miner Torvak sat in a smoke-filled bar, staring at a holographic screen. The news was everywhere. He took a slow sip from his metal cup. So the stories were true, he muttered. A younger worker nearby looked confused. What stories? Torvak turned. About Earth, the Deathworlders. They were said to be gone, dead, legends. The young one laughed. No race is that strong. Torvak leaned in closer. Kid, Earth doesn't fight for land or power. They fight for people. And when they do, whole empires fall. In the council chambers of the Galactic Concord, the highest leaders of dozens of species gathered for an emergency meeting. Their faces were tense. Some were worried. Others were afraid. A tall, blue-skinned ambassador stood. This is the third time Earth has returned from silence, he said. And each time, the galaxy shifts. A small reptilian delegate hissed, they destroyed a Kravari fleet in one day. Do you know what that means? An elder creature, slow and thoughtful, tapped the table with his long fingers. It means we must speak to them. But how? Another delegate asked. Earth doesn't answer calls. They only answer cries. The chamber fell silent. Meanwhile, deep within the core of the human fleet, Commander Aaron Voss stood aboard. The Oblivion? His eyes were fixed on a new message. It wasn't from Lurath. It wasn't from Earth. It was from a forgotten world Selenar, a distant moon. Orbiting a red gas giant, it wasn't part of any alliance. Just a trading hub. The message was simple. We are under attack. They came without warning. Please, if anyone hears this. Aaron narrowed his eyes. Replay it, he said. The AI complied. The message played again, crackling with static and fear. Another SOS, yes, Aaron said. And it's not Kravari this time. She paused. Someone new. Aaron didn't answer, but in his gut, he knew something worse had seen what Earth had done. And now, it wanted to test the legend. The edge of known space. The Zarn Dominion had watched Earth's return in silence. The Zarn were cold-blooded, insect-like creatures, clever and cruel. They had ruled the Shadow Quadrant for generations, enslaving species, stealing resources, crushing resistance, and now they were curious. In their throne hive. Queen Killer Vriel hissed softly to her advisors. The humans strike hard, she said. But do they strike smart? Her warlord clicked his jaws. They are fast, precise, but they lack numbers. She leaned forward, venom dripping from her fangs. Then we bleed them with numbers. The Zarn had already begun attacking. Soft target sun-protected colonies, trade hubs, medical worlds, not for conquest, but to see if Earth would answer again. And they got their answer in the launch bay of the Oblivion. Colonel Rix readied his troops once more. He wore fresh black armor, scarred from the last battle, but still solid. Around him, hundreds of soldiers stood at attention. Mission? He asked. Defense of Selenar Ikes, replied an officer. Confirmed Zarn activity. Rix rolled his neck. New enemy, same rules. A young soldier asked nervously, do we know what they want? Rix looked him dead in the eyes. They want to see if the Deathworlders bleed. The fleet moved. Earth's ships didn't wait for approval or support. They heard the call and answered. As they entered Selenar space, smoke was already rising from the moon's surface. Civilian transports were burning in orbit. Pirate ships modified with strange insect-like tech moved between wreckage, looting, and killing. Aaron stood on the bridge. Broadcast once, he said. A single message went out. This is Earth. Evacuate the system, or be removed. The Zarn did not reply. They simply turned toward the humans and opened fire. The battle began fast. Missiles streaked through the void. Laser blasts lit up the blackness, but Earth's ships moved like predators. Interceptors danced between enemy fire. Drones launched in perfect formations. Each ship covered another dot still. The Zarn kept coming. For every pirate ship destroyed, 2 more replaced it. Inside the command chamber, Lyra frowned. They're throwing everything at us. Aaron stayed calm. They want to see how far we'll go. She looked at him. How far will we go? Aaron tapped the control board. Send the signal. Activate Black Rain Protocol. High above the battle, a new ship arrived, the Eclipse, Earth's experimental weapon carrier. It had no guns, no armor, but its payload was fearsome. The bottom of the ship opened and thousands of small pods fell like rain. Each pod hit a Zarn vessel and released a cloud of nanomachines, silent, invisible, and deadly. Systems shut down. Engines died. Pilots suffocated. The Zarn fleet began collapsing, fast, too fast. They tried to flee, but Earth didn't let them. On the moon's surface, Zarn ground forces attacked the main settlement of Selenar Ikes. Civilians hid in shelters. Fires raged in the streets. Then the sky cracked open. Dropships landed. Earth's soldiers poured out like lightning. Colonel Rix led the first charge. His voice loud through the comms. Secure the civilians. Wipe the hive. The Zarn fought hard, but they weren't ready for Earth's tech. Human flamethrowers incinerated swarms. Sonic cannons shattered bone and shell. In less than an hour, the Zarn were gone. When the smoke cleared, the people of Selenar emerged from hiding. A child approached. Rix, slowly, "Are you really?" "From Earth," she asked. He kneeled beside her. "That's right. You came for us." Rix looked at her. "You called," he said. "We answered." Back in the fleet, Aaron reviewed the final battle report. Lyra entered quietly. "Is safe losses?" "Minimal," Aaron leaned back. "That wasn't a war. That was a message." Lyra nodded. "Do you think the galaxy got it?" Aaron looked out the window. "They will, but not everyone was grateful." In a dark hall of the Galactic Concord, several species watched the footage from Selenar Ixearth's weapons, Earth's tactics, Earth's fury. "They are dangerous." One counselor said, "Too dangerous." Another whispered. A third leaned forward. "Should we fear them?" The answer was clear. Not yet, but soon. On board the Oblivion, Aaron sat alone in his quarters. He stared at an old photo, a picture of Earth, green and blue, peaceful and far away. Lyra's voice came through his comm. "We're getting more signals. New calls for help, more attacks." He didn't answer at first. Then he stood. "Plot the course." She paused. "Where to?" Aaron looked into the stars. "Wherever the cries are loudest." Because now the galaxy knew Earth wasn't just listening. Earth was watching. And when the innocent screamed, the Death Worlders would come. Far across the galaxy, in the shining heart of the Galactic Concord, tension filled the air. Inside a massive dome made of crystal and steel, over 80 different alien leaders gathered. Some floated in orbs of light, others slithered across polished floors. Some breathed water, others fire. But all had come for one reason: Earth. At the center of the chamber stood Chancellor Vorin, a tall, silver-skinned diplomat whose voice could calm storms or start wars. He slammed his hand on the meeting table. "We must decide," he said firmly. "Earth has returned, and it is not the same Earth we remember." A deep voice replied from a shadowed seat. "Earth destroyed an entire Kravari fleet in a single day," said the Gralak warlord. "And then they burned the Zarn invasion like it was nothing." "They answered an SOS," said the ambassador of the Valari. "They came to save the helpless." Another hissed sharply. "They came with weapons older than the Concord itself." Chancellor Vorin looked around. "You're all correct, but this isn't about who Earth is now. It's about what they might become next." The room went quiet, he continued. "Do we let them rise again, or do we stop them before it's too late?" Back aboard the Oblivion, Commander Aaron Voss reviewed new reports from the Outer Rim. Another colony attacked. Another cry for help. He stood silently in front of a star map. Glowing red dots marked danger. Yellow dots marked allies. But Earth was marked in black. Behind him, Captain Lyra entered. "Still thinking?" she asked. Arin nodded slowly. "We've stopped 2 invasions, 3 worlds saved, but no thanks. No offers of alliance." She folded her arms. "They fear us." Aaron turned to face her. "Should they?" Lyra didn't answer. Instead, she pointed to the growing list of incoming distress calls. If we stop, more will die. If we keep going, the galaxy turns against us. Erin spoke softly. And if we don't care what the galaxy thinks? She raised an eyebrow. Then we become the thing they fear. In a hidden chamber beneath the Concord city, a group of alien leaders met in secret. This was not a council. This was a conspiracy. A thin, shadow-eyed creature whispered, "We cannot match Earth in strength, but we can guide the galaxy away." From them, an insectoid general buzzed. They act like they are guardians. But they are soldiers. Killers. A third, a quiet one with golden skin, spoke last. Then we do not fight them openly. We destroy their image. Turn the galaxy against them, before their fire spreads. They all agreed. Back on Earth, the Human Council watched everything from orbit. Earth was now silent but alert. The people remembered the past wars. They knew what the return of the fleets meant, and they trusted the Oblivion's command. President Marlowe, an older woman with sharp eyes, looked into a holoscreen as Erin's image appeared. "Commander Voss," she said, "is it true the Concord hasn't contacted us?" "Not a word," Erin replied, "but they're talking, just not to us." She nodded. "The question is, do we care?" Erin's voice was firm. "No, ma'am, not yet. In a neutral zone." Near the trade moon Veritas Prime, a group of Concord spies planted a device on a civilian freighter. The ship was set to travel through known Earth-saved zones. The plan was simple. Let the ship explode mid-route and blame Earth. Make the galaxy believe Earth's weapons were unstable. Make the peacekeepers look like monsters. But Earth's fleet had eyes everywhere. Lieutenant Kale, a sharp-eyed recon officer aboard the stealth frigate Whisperfall, noticed a strange signal. Unusual energy spike from the Veritas route, he told his AI. Probability of sabotage. The AI asked Kale, smiled. "Hi." He didn't wait. His ship vanished into fold space, headed to stop a war without firing a shot. Back at the Concord, a news report lit up the chamber. Breaking. Earth saves Veritas freighter from sabotage. Concord, ties suspected, erupted in panic. They know. They saw everything. Who leaked this? Chancellor Voren stood tall. "We pushed them too far. They're not just fighters, they're watching, listening, learning." Silence fell again. And someone said, the words no one wanted to say, "Maybe we need them." In a dark prison deep inside the Concord, a Krovari warlord sat chained to the wall. His ship had been one of the few that escaped Lurith. His eyes were yellow, full of hate. A Concord agent entered and asked, "What do you know about Earth?" The Krovari spat on the floor. "Earth is not a planet. Earth is a warning, and you ignored it." Back on the Oblivion, Colonel Rix sat with his team in the strategy room. Maps floated in the air. Red lines showed enemy movements. Blue lines showed Earth's defense zones. A young soldier asked, "Why do they hate us if we keep saving them?" Rix chuckled, low and cold, "Because we don't ask permission." Another replied, "But we're doing good." "Doesn't matter," Rix said. "Power without control scares people. And we're very powerful." On the moon of Arclus 5, a small group of pirates wearing stolen Earth armor attacked a neutral village. They burned homes, terrorized civilians, left one message: this was justice from Earth. The act was brutal and it worked. Across systems, people began to question Earth's actions. Were they really protectors? Or just another war machine? Erin received the footage. He didn't blink, he didn't rage. He simply said, "We end this." Now, Lyra asked, "You think it was a setup?" He nodded. "Someone wants Earth to fall, from the inside." "Then what do we do?" Erin looked into space. "We remind them who we are." A single ship, the Judgment, was sent to Arclus 5. It carried no army, no bombs, just 6 soldiers. The best they landed in silence, and one by one hunted every false pirate. No buildings, burned, no civilians harmed, just justice. After the mission, the galaxy received a message. A short, clear video. A captured pirate kneeled on the ground. Shaking dot behind him stood a human soldier. "Earth answers the call," the soldier said, "but we never strike the innocent. Those who wear our armor to spread fear," he raised his weapon, "will be the first to fall." Billions watched. Some cheered, some trembled, but all understood. Earth was not seeking war, but it would finish. One, and across the stars, cries for help only grew louder. Because now, the galaxy believed again. And fear or not, when the Death Worlders came, they answered. On a cold metal station drifting in deep space, a cloaked figure walked through dark halls. This was Station Tyro 7, a neutral zone where spies whispered. Smugglers traded secrets, and powerful species met far from watching eyes. But tonight, the station was tense. Rumors spread like fire. Earth knows too much. They're watching, even here. They see everything, and that made powerful people nervous. Inside a quiet chamber, several alien leaders met in secret. A hologram of Earth's black warship, the Oblivion, hovered above the table. Its silent form sent chills down every spine. They strike fast, hissed a snake-like diplomat. Too fast. They strike right, replied another, a pale creature with blinking eyes. A third slammed a claw on the table. Right or wrong, they are not part of our system, and they never asked to be. They do not ask, said the first. They answer. The chamber fell silent. Then one spoke. What if we take away their reason to answer? Meanwhile, on the Oblivion, Commander Aaron Voss stared at a new set of images. The planet Serelina, peaceful trade. World was burning, not by Kravari, not by pirates, but by unknown. Weapons, human-looking weapons. Captain Lyra stepped in. Another, false flag. Aaron nodded. Most likely. Someone wants the galaxy to turn against us. She frowned. Who? Doesn't matter yet, Aaron replied. What matters is the people dying. He turned to the fleet AI. Prepare emergency deployment. Get me Colonel Rix. On Serelin's surface, chaos reigned. Buildings crumbled. Fires consumed the sky. Civilians ran through smoke, coughing and screaming. A group of fake human soldiers wearing black armor, marked with Earth's flag, marched through the streets with brutal precision. They shouted lies. Earth brings order. Bow or burn, their weapons roared. But then, the real Earth arrived. Dropships broke through the clouds like thunder. The fakes looked up and froze. Colonel Rix led the landing force. He said nothing at first, just stared at the imposters. Then, he raised his voice through the battlefield speakers. You wear the armor, but not the honor. The fake soldiers tried to run. They didn't get far. Earth's forces moved like blades in the dark, clean, sharp, final. In the ruins. A Serelin child looked up at Rix, tears on her face. I thought Earth did this, she said. Ryx knelt beside her. So did they. He stood and looked around. We just showed them the truth. A few hours later, aboard the Oblivion, Commander Aaron addressed the galaxy in a rare broadcast. His image appeared on thousands of screens, calm, focused, and powerful. This is Earth, he began. Many of you have heard lies. That we burn without reason, that we strike without mercy, that we seek control. He paused. Let me be clear. We do not seek power. We answer cries for help. We defend those who cannot defend themselves. But if you wear our face to cause fear, if you pretend to be us to spread fire. No, this, his eyes burned with quiet rage. We will find you, and we will end you. The speech sent waves across the stars. Some cheered, some panicked, and some began to plan again. On Station Tyro 7, a mysterious figure watched the speech in silence. This was no ordinary politician, no warlord, no spy. This was Varix, leader of the hidden group, known only as the Mask Circle, an underground network with one goal: control the narrative of the galaxy. He turned to his agents. Earth thinks with fire, but we will strike with fear. His voice was smooth, dangerous. We don't need to destroy their ships, just their trust. The plan moved quickly. On dozens of peaceful worlds, messages suddenly appeared on public networks. Videos of battles, twisted to look like Earth had fired first. Old footage mixed with new. Civilians shown running from Earth. The killer left behind Earth-made bullets. On another, hospitals were bombed. Fake Earth orders were discovered in the rubble. The damage wasn't physical, it was mental. Suddenly, many wondered, what if Earth really is the danger? Inside the Oblivion, Captain Lyra paced back and forth. We're being framed in half the outer systems. News feeds are showing false attacks, fake broadcasts, altered data. Commander Aaron watched silently. Rix entered next, tossing a datapad on the table. Whole refugee zones are closing their gates to us. Some are even forming defense grids. Lyra clenched her jaw. They think we're monsters. Aaron finally spoke. Then we show them who the real monsters are. Aaron ordered a new mission. Project Mirafall, Earth's best cyber units launched into action. They traced signal sources, found doctored footage, tracked the deep code of the masked circle, and when they found a broadcast station secretly spreading lies, they shut it down, fast, clean, without noise. Each time, they left a single message. Falsehood dies in the light. The Concord finally responded. A diplomatic message arrived. Earth, stand down. Let us investigate. Aaron replied simply, too late. We're already there. On the far world of Drenakar, one of the last masked circle hubs buzzed with fear. Their lies were crumbling, their secrets exposed. Varix knew it was over. But he had one last weapon, a device of black sphere, silent, ancient, an anti-light bomb. He activated it and whispered, if Earth wants the truth, let them walk through the dark. The bomb was set to erase power and light for miles. No systems, no COMMS, no rescue dot, no rescue, just silence. But Earth had learned. The Oblivion had already detected energy spikes. Stealth drones landed in secret, and when the bomb was activated, a single pulse fired from orbit, not to destroy, but to freeze the bomb's code. Mid-sequence, the bomb shut down before it could blink. Rix's voice came through the local speakers. Your darkness failed. Ours does not. The last of the masked circle agents were arrested. Their lies exposed. World after world apologized to Earth, some quietly, some publicly, but the message was clear. The mask was broken, and beneath it, was fear. Later, on the bridge of the Oblivion, Aaron Voss stood at the window once more. The stars looked peaceful, but he knew they were watching. Captain Lyra walked up beside him. The galaxy is quiet for now. Aaron nodded. They thought they could destroy our name. Lyra smirked. They forgot. Earth doesn't have a name. We have actions. They watched the stars together, and across the galaxy, where fires once burned and rumors once ruled. NewThoughtspread.com and clear. If Earth wears armor, it's not to conquer, it's to shield, and if the Deathworlders come, they come to protect. In the black silence of deep space, a message flickered into existence. It was short. We surrender. Please help. The source, Corlax Prime, a remote world on the edge of the galaxy. Once a Kravari military base, now a silent graveyard, the signal repeated every 30 seconds. Broken, weak, desperate, back aboard the Oblivion. Commander Aaron Voss stared at the message. His eyes were hard, but thoughtful. Captain Lyra studied the star map beside him. That planet's been dead for years. Known survivors. Why now? Colonel Rix crossed his arms. Could be a trap. Aaron didn't look away from the screen. Or it could be one last voice, waiting too long to be heard. Far away, in the remains of the Kravari stronghold on Corlax Prime, something stirred. Ruined towers and blackened soil. Machines hummed in silence, and deep below, a single creature watched the stars from a screen. Its name was Ranak. Last general of the Kravari, he was not sending a cry for help. He was baiting a god, the Oblivion. Moved carefully, to escort ships followed Nightwing and Vigilance. Together, they cut across dark space toward Corlax. The fleet stayed quiet, stealth mode active, all weapons armed in the command chamber. Aaron addressed his officers. If this is real, he said, we bring survivors home, and if it's not? Asked Lyra. Then we end whatever's waiting. The fleet entered orbit. Corlax Prime looked dead, no energy, no movement, no light. Lyra frowned. Too quiet. Sensors scanned the surface. Commander, said the AI, I detect faint life signs underground. Aaron didn't hesitate. Prep a landing team. Rix suited up. His team followed 8 soldiers, all elite. They boarded the dropship, descending. Like shadows, the landing zone was a ruined courtyard. Charred walls, cracked ground, no wind, just echoes. Rix led the team forward. Inside a nearby bunker, the door opened with a groan. A single figure limped out thin, scarred, barely alive. Please, the figure croaked. We've waited so long. Rick stepped closer. How many of you? The figure trembled. Just me now. The rest died. Or left. He fell to his knees. Rick reached out, and then everything exploded. Above the planet, alarms screamed on the Oblivion. Massive energy spike orbital weapons activating. Multiple ships uncloaking enemy fleet inbound. Aaron's heart pounded. Kravari? Lyra asked. No, he said coldly. Worse. From the darkness, dozens of massive alien ships emerged as ships with no flag, no name, no past dot, just power. The Silent Accord, a lost faction thought dead centuries ago. Unknown, unseen, and now hunting Earth. Their weapons charged. Their trap was set. On the surface, Rick's team fought to escape. Enemy drones burst from the ground-flying machines, sharp as razors. Lasers fired from hidden walls. Soldiers returned. Fire, forming a tight circle. Rick shouted over comms, "We're surrounded!" requesting The Oblivion moved in fast. A shuttle broke orbit, diving toward the fire in space. Earth's fleet fought with fury. Nightwing dodged a beam and counterfired, cutting through a Silent Accord ship, but more came. Hundreds. Lyra stood over the map. We're outnumbered 10-1. Aaron gave no sign of fear. Then make everyone count. The ground team was pinned near a crater. One soldier screamed, struck by enemy fire. Rick grabbed her armor, dragging her behind cover. Then he saw Ita beacon, glowing red beneath the surface. This isn't a rescue site, he muttered. It's a signal tower. What kind of signal? Asked a soldier. Rick's eyes narrowed. A lure. He fired at it. The tower exploded above. Some enemy ships blinked out of space, destroyed instantly. On the Oblivion, a change appeared. Commander, yelled Lyra. Enemy fleet's AI is networked. The surface beacon was controlling it. Aaron saw the opportunity. If we destroy the network, we destroy the fleet. Then we drop everything, Lyra said. He nodded, and we bring our people home. The Oblivion focused all power on a single massive shot. The rail cannon charged its core glowing with white-blue light in orbit. The Silent Accord moved to block it, too late. One blast. It tore through the clouds, it struck the central tower, and it shattered the signal. Enemy ships froze, then they began falling one by one. Silent, dead, the trap was broken. On the surface, Rick and his team looked up. The sky was full of falling metal, like rain made of fire. Time to go. Rick said. The shuttle picked them up just in time, lifting them. From the smoke and rubble, back aboard the Oblivion, Aaron watched the debris drift. Lyra walked in beside him. That wasn't Kravari tech. That wasn't even Concord tech. Aaron nodded. We found something new. Or it found us, she said. He didn't answer, just stared into the black dot. Later that night, Rick sat with his team in the mess hall. One soldier asked, Sir, how did they know we'd answer? Rick drank water slowly, then replied, Because they know Earth always answers. In a hidden star system, far from light, a transmission played in a deep chamber. A voice whispered, Earth survived the trap. The Deathworlders endure. Another voice answered, "calm, cold, inhuman. Then next time, we strike their home." And so, the galaxy braced again. For Earth had survived the fire. But a storm was coming. One aimed straight for the blue planet itself. Above Earth, the skies were peaceful. Clouds drifted gently. Birds flew in formation. On the surface, cities glowed with quiet life, clean bright. And safe. Children played in parks. Farms grew in green fields. People laughed, unaware that far across the stars, someone had made a decision to end Earth. In deep space, a fleet gathered, not Kravari, not pirates, not even the Silent Accord. This force was something new. The Shrouded Flame, an ancient order. Long forgotten, hiding in the cold shadows of failed empires. They never fought in open war. They watched, they waited, they studied Earth's victories, and now they would test Earth where it had never been attacked, home, aboard the Oblivion. Commander Aaron Voss stood in front of a projection. Of Earth, Captain Lyra entered, holding a red alert file. This just came in. Every border sensor just went blind. All of them, Aaron asked. She nodded, like someone turned off the stars. Colonel Rix walked in next. The system's perimeter defenses are silent. No attack, just nothing. Aaron stared at the screen, then the storm's already here. Within hours, the first signs appeared. Earth's outer colonies reported missing patrols. Space traffic near Mars vanished. Civilian satellites lost contact. One by one, systems went dark. And then came the sound that froze every commander in the fleet. A single word broadcast across all frequencies. Calm, quiet, certain. Now, in Earth orbit, dozens of hidden ships decloaked, sharp, black, silent. They didn't fire, yet they didn't speak. They just hovered above cities near satellites, beside defense stations, all at once. Then they struck. Massive beams of red light tore through orbital defenses. Stations exploded. Satellites burned. Earth's sky filled with falling fire. But Earth did not panic. They responded. The Oblivion turned toward home. Aaron stood tall on the bridge. "We were built for this," he said. "We were trained for this." He activated the Earth Defense Network. "Send the signal. All fleets, all forces, come home." Across the galaxy, Earth's scattered fleets changed course, from colonies, from war zones, from deep patrols. They flew through fold space, racing back to protect their world. On the surface, civilians were guided into underground bunkers. Skies turned red, but people stayed calm because they believed in the fleet, in the soldiers, in Earth from the Pacific. Ocean rose, the Titan-class Defender's massive seaborne cannons, hidden beneath the waves for decades. From the Arctic came Thunderwings, high-speed interceptors with full-drive launch systems, and above all, the Oblivion rose to lead the defense. The shrouded flame ships advanced. Their weapons were strange, organic. Whispering, they launched Void Mine's black holes in miniature, tearing space itself. Earth's ships responded. Missile pods opened, railguns charged, fighters launched like swarms of steel bees. The battle above Earth was unlike anything in history. Space tore open, fire streaked through the stars, ships shattered. Like glass dot, but Earth held the line. Down below, Aaron's voice echoed across all comms. "You have come to our home, and now you face the full fire of the Deathworlders." The shrouded flame fleet began to retreat. One ship broke formation, another exploded, but they had a backup plan. Deep in the oceans of Earth, small pods began to open. Invasive machines, silent, hidden, had been planted long ago. They activated, crawled toward cities, infiltrated power lines, tried to blind Earth from within. But Earth hid secrets. 2. The Black Ice Protocol triggered. A digital guardian, AI built only for this day, came online. It traced every enemy signal, hunted every machine, and crushed them. Within minutes, Earth's systems were clean. The virus had failed. Rix led a ground strike team to eliminate enemy beacons hidden near old ruins. He crushed one with his boot, watching its red glow fade. "This is Earth," he said, "not your hunting ground." High above, the Oblivion focused its final railgun blast. Target, the shrouded Flames command vessel. ARIN gave the order. Fire. The sky flashed white. The enemy flagship shattered. The rest vanished into fold space defeated. Broken silence returned. Only wreckage floated above Earth. But Earth stood strong on the days that followed. Earth repaired quickly. Ships rebuilt. Skies cleared. Families returned home. And the galaxy watched, because now they truly understood. Earth was not a myth. Earth was not just a savior. Earth was a warning. At a Concord gathering, Chancellor Voron stood before every species and said, "Earth has done what we could not." They answered every cry. They saved those who were forgotten. They even defended us when we doubted them. He paused. From this day forward, Earth is not just part of the galaxy. It protects it. The chamber erupted in cheers. Even old enemies stood in respect. Back on Earth, Aaron visited a quiet hill, where the stars could be seen clearly. Lyra stood beside him. "Do you think it's over?" she asked. He looked up. "No," he said, "but they know now." She nodded. "That we fight?" He shook his head. "That we protect." And somewhere in a distant system, a small child in a world Earth had once saved looked into the sky. She pointed to a passing star and said softly, "That one's Earth, the light that answers the dark." Because when the galaxy cried for help, Earth's war fleet answered, not with words, not with promises, but with firepower and a heart that never stopped listening. End of series.